been out of body, traveled, and then I'd worked for the government, and I'd done Men in Black kind of stuff, or going out looking for UFOs. And we've started discussing that, but Janet was the one that was helping me multi-layer the reality as to why is this all important, because it wasn't important to me, but I knew it must be important to the government because they wanted it kept underground, so to speak. So all these people are starting finally, after 8 years I've been doing this radio show, emailing me or getting in contact with me or having people talk to me, and they're changing all my reality in my computers, who can talk to me now. Now that I'm taken serious, very few people can contact me. Matter of fact, I haven't been able to contact anybody. My phones, my computers, everything is like, I don't know if it's extraterrestrials off planet or if it's the people on the planet or they're all working together. So finally this man said, well, we're looking at Donald Trump Jr. as taking this forward as the president, the ET president. So I don't know what to think about that. But now that Janet said she read something, that's why this show's important, Janet, is connecting the dots with you and Karen. And then how is this all playing out in you guys' life? Because we're so shut down, and not only from COVID-19 still, but now there's going to be 2 more waves of that, and that's okay because that's normal on the planet. Every 6 months, 3 times if we have a plague. But I'm not so concerned about that, but I am excited about the future and how all this is allowing us to change the reality and the different timelines that we all are part of. So I was also told that we're creating our own perception and that only those people that listen to this type of stuff are interested. But they're not saying we're conspiracy theorists. They know that. They're starting to see the validity, if that makes any sense, with our key words. Men in Black, UFOs, ETs, Area 51. I guess Roswell, and I didn't put that as a key word, Janet. Is my time up? I'll concede. Madam Speaker
Almost
or
30,
Chairman
30
or whatever
seconds.
you are.
30 seconds.
All right, that's pretty good. All right, so how to perceive the future. How to separate our perception from our truth and reality. So I put 3 women of mystery on mine. Women of Mystery, UFO UAP Series 1, Episode 4. Janet, Karen, and Theresa is the name of my show tonight, if anybody follows us, which I know they do. All right, thank you.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, next person. Take it away, Karen.
Okay. That was great,
Okay.
DJ. That was very, very good. And I'm going to add to that a little bit because there are in Texas and Florida are real hot spots right now. They've a wave that's come back around with COVID-19. And I was talking to some medical people this morning at one of the best hospitals in Dallas, talking to a couple of doctors, and they were telling me about it. And they said that it's so important that people wear their mask and people wear their gloves, to keep this from coming bigger and bigger and bigger. And I said, yeah, I know. We talked about all that. In some of the hospitals here in Dallas, it's even difficult to enter into the hospitals because of the valet is so congested. They have to break through the people to get into the doors to get into the building. And so that's a big thing, and the hospitals and the administrators or the business people who govern them don't know really what to do about that. So I got a vision that, and I think it's going to become really big in our country, is that there's going to be a lot of real estate change with the hospitals. A lot of the doctors' offices are going to come away from these buildings that are tied to the hospital because this could happen again. Anything could happen, and they're going to build one-floor offices that are kind of like in a piazza or a little circle or lines or whatever. And this is going to be coming up for our future. I received that information. And then I found out later that a couple of people are already doing it. And so I'm getting a lot of information about things that might be added to heal the virus. Excuse me, my allergies are terrible. But one would be a steroid. And another one could be, I know it sounds like I'm talking about what's already been taught, but this is different. And azithromycin won't be part of it. They call that Z-Pack. But it's another form that's blended. It's like 3 substances. But there is a steroid because it takes down the inflammation. So that's all I got. I can't get any more pharmaceutical about it. But I got that information. And so all of these changes and transitions that are happening for people to start asking questions about their life, their future. Everybody's already going over their inventory and about how they came into this play and what's their creation and how they made themselves and what they want to do. And then in order to gain more knowledge, we're all find that we're back in school again. I know I am. I have to stay up most of the night studying or doing computer or working on this stuff like I was back in college again. And I'm sure a lot of the light workers are doing that. And I know TJ and Janet are in many forms. And so we need to remember the people we came here to do this. We were born at this time. This is when the bugles blow. And we're here to try to reach out and enlighten or help to teach as many people as we can where they could be safe. And I have a ton of people calling me. And I've got a lot of students right now, and they're all showing the same things. And they watch us, by the way. They love this show. And they're really supporting Aquarian Radio. And they're seeing the numbers, like 11, 11, 22, 22, something that comes out to be a 1, and all of the master numbers, all of the numbers. And something is telling each one of them that there's something going on. And it reaches their solar plexus, and they feel that they're communicated with by a higher being. And they get real excited, and it helps them to, I say, well, this is coming from you. You're letting it happen. You're opening yourself to receive. And so more will continue, and more continues. And I have a student who has a dog company. She's great. Her company's name, she would love for me to tell it, Fido Fundamentals. She's a master in dealing with dogs. She's
Fundamentals.
Great.
Okay. You're out of time. Okay.
There we go.
It's my turn. Okay. Cool. Okay.
5 minutes,
so
Janet.
let me start the timer. Of course.
Yes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted to address your the antibiotic situation. I mean, the antibody situation with the COVID. So apparently it only lasts 10 days. So everybody's all freaked out about if they get a vaccine, that's going to be the cure-all. But apparently this system is really challenging humanity to rise up and think outside of the box and really figure out what's going on here. I know there's some genetic research, and there's all kinds of accusations that it was genetically created in the lab and it was purposely released. And so, we've got everybody on the planet experiencing mass exodus, and a lot of the people that they love. And yes, and I've heard that you heard it was 3 waves. I heard that there could be 9 innings, and if you look at it historically, the one in the 1918 that lasted 4 years, I believe. And if you can go back or ancient times, there was a plague that went around for 400 years. So I guess it depends. And I don't know if we can reach herd immunity if the antibodies don't last. See, the theory is that we get herd immunity when everybody has the antibodies, but if they don't last. And so we've got a real dilemma here for our population, and it is calling the population, and we are getting, and it's not like exclusively to old people, but so the morality of it is, though, is if you get it and you go out, you are easily infected and you infect. And when you infect, people die. So I agree with you, Karen. We need to wear masks because that's the morally right thing to do. Even in 1918, they met people getting off the train with masks. And there's, I think, 20 states that are making it illegal to walk around without masks. So it's getting so severe because the second round, it's like it was kind of gradually increasing. But if you look at a chart, it just goes spikes way up. So it's going to be the point where, yeah, you can't go out without a mask, or they're going to do something. I don't know what the penalty is for no mask, but here in Hawaii, they've been rounding up people that have gotten on the island of Maui, and they arrest them, and they put them back on a plane, or they put them in jail. So we're living in a strange world, and I got a lot of feedback. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me try this. There we go. Turn that down. Okay. And I think I have to turn off the air. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to focus on the Roswell and the gray aliens because that seems to be our Rosetta Stone, the critical issue, and that's where this whole thing started. If we're going to have any revelations, we need to go to the source and what was going on. Now, I know I'm going to put a question out to you two, and I'd like to – there's a bunch of questions I put up on aquarianradio.com, but it would be nice if we would just kind of hone in our thoughts and maybe answer questions. So my question for you two is, what do you think happened at Roswell in July of 1947? And I know, TJ, that you have some insider information, and I hope that you get more comfortable as we do this show and you start revealing what you know about your memories. You have things on a soul level memories, and you have things on a past-like memory thing and on a current working for the government type memory. So I hope that you get more comfortable and reveal things, because what I do want to put here, I am a never Trumper, and I don't want any Trumps. I hope they go away, go to Mars, and establish a colony there, because I think we need less racist people, because this whole problem with the race, systemic racism, we need to eliminate that and stop coming from that, because, we have the browning of America, and most of us have brown children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So I'm going to pass it back to TJ, but my question is, what do you think happened at Roswell in July of 47? So.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? Or am I on mute?
Yes.
Am I on mute?
But I'm getting some feedback, yeah. No, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll turn down my mic is as low as it'll go. It won't roll down any farther. So, in Roswell, we'll use the word Roswell because my first acknowledgement of even the word, I lived in Roswell, Georgia for a while, but that was as close to Roswell as I knew. But when I was living there, that's when they started talking about Roswell, the other Roswell, and I'd go, well, what do you mean the other Roswell? But I didn't realize I was into all of this Roswell stuff. So I didn't go to Roswell till after I'd lived in Roswell, Georgia, which is interesting in itself. But the word Roswell was the word they were using for me was the Jesse Marcel story, because that's what I knew it about. So in the beginning, when I was very young and I'd gotten my clearances through NASA with my husband, and then Stephen Lee Parrish was I didn't know we were talking about Roswell and ETs. I just knew, I thought we were talking about space people and Sputnik among the astronauts. And my husband then was Stephen Lee Parrish, and he's passed. And then later on you'll hear about different husbands that worked in the government, and they've all passed. So I don't have any living husbands. But I did manage to get divorced in between, just so you guys know. I'm not a bigamist. But that's another reason my story gets all complicated is different times, different men, different government relations. But in the beginning, I was picked up by Navy in a Navy van and escorted out to California, and Balboa, and it was a hospital corpsman on the front, but I realized because I was investigative by nature and I was in law enforcement and all that later, all of it combined. So it was sort of neat that by the time I got back from there, I went to they took me in a van from Dallas to where Karen, I went from Houston to Dallas in a snowstorm. I got to Dallas and I was freezing. And then the